In this video, I'll be entering a credit card bill into QuickBooks. I've got another video on entering bills. This is more specific to a credit card statement. So I'm in my QuickBooks. I've made up a fake credit card statement, very generic, but it should serve the purpose. Credit card. And all credit card statements are laid out a little differently. But it would say the credit card of the bank, monthly statement, and usually the date it's through, the 30-day period or 1 month period. Then you will usually see something like this: the prior balance, payments, and the payments of course would be since the last statement date. Balance forward is 0 in this case, and new charges, new balance. I simply did this in Word. I didn't print it out. You would have your charges for the period in question right here. And you'd have dates, description, and dollar amount charged. Now, there's a total balance. Again, it's repeating because there's no prior balance. I made up a minimum due. It's arbitrary. And then the due date. This version of entering a credit card is just one of two versions. The other version is there's a way in the QuickBooks to enter enter transactions as you go. When the statement appears, you choose which transactions have cleared, and you put it together that way. This is the way I generally do it in my job. This is where you're assuming you pay the balance every month. So there's no balance to put off into a liability account, for example, like a balance due to. So in your QuickBooks, you would just enter a bill. You get this window. I'm just going to maximize it. I'm entering credit card because I have no vendor. And the first time you ever enter a credit card statement, you'll have to enter the credit card name. It could be a Visa or MasterCard, a bank name. I don't want to state one, but just you'd name it what you know it would be. I'm going to do a quick add. I'm not going to worry about the address. On your statement, you would have a send payment to for the remit or remittance address. I would put that in there with, of course, the bank or credit card name repeated. But for now, we'll put credit card, just like mine is called, credit card. Now, just like any other bill, you need a date of the bill. Now, in this scenario, when you just enter a monthly credit card bill monthly and you put the whole thing in, that is, you just account for the expenses, it's really just like any other bill. One moment. So, I like to put the last day of the cycle period for the credit card statement right there. Now the reference number, I like to be consistent. You could do the month and the year, which I do for many things. You could do the last 4 of the account number, which this is made up, and then you do a space and then the month and year. I'll just stick with the month and year. With this vendor, specifically this credit card, there's going to be a monthly. I don't need it to be that unique. And now if you have a bunch of credit cards, you might want to do something different, but we'll just leave it as credit card. And if you did, you would name them something different so you could decipher between which is which. The amount due, again, this is an example that I do where you pay the credit card's balance in full every month, so you don't carry over a balance. So if you were to look at the statement, you'd see something like prior balance, payments. And I always verify that to make sure the last payment was received and I'm not overpaying or double paying a credit card payment. So the balance forward is 0. That tells me the new charges and new balance is $755.06. So I enter that in the amount due. You can tab to your next area, which is the due date. And if you look at the statement, at least the minimum amount due, but I would pay the full amount, is this date, May 10th. So I will choose that date, so I make sure when I go pay my bills, this one's in there ready to pay. Now I accidentally clicked down here, as you saw. It automatically wants to put this down there. I'll just delete it. I go back to the register area below. Before I go down though, even though I put the due date, I usually like to do this, as close as I can, but I'll just put net 30. And you'll notice net 30 changed this. Well, I know it's May 10th, so it's not exactly. It's probably net 25. But as long as you have it entered there right, that's fine. Now, for the next step, we'll be entering the expenses in here the way I like to do it in the register down here. I'll continue that in part 2. So just look for part 2. Thank you for watching.